Hey guys, my name's Lavonne and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I am back to answer your frequently asked question, how much time should I wait before getting pregnant again? It is true that both short and long inter-pregnancy intervals or time between pregnancies can be associated with certain complications, more specifically though with those short intervals. And so I'm gonna talk all about it in this quick FAQ video. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, go ahead and subscribe and then let's get started. You guys ask me on literally any coffee and questions poll on Instagram and then on so many of the comments on multiple of my videos, how long should you wait between pregnancies? And so I wanted to make this specific FAQ video because I feel like this is one of my most common questions of all time. So let's knock it out. So when we talk about inter-pregnancy interval, that is the time between the birth of your last baby and then getting pregnant again. Previously, I actually thought that it was until birth of the other baby, but it's actually till you get pregnant again. And there's considered short and then there's considered long. We talk about long, I'm not really gonna talk about long inter-pregnancy intervals. The quick answer to that is have a baby before 5 years to decrease your chances of complications. And then when we talk about short, what we're talking about is really the research is a little bit loose on this. When they say short, some people refer to 3 months between the time of birth to getting pregnant again, which is actually very fast, and then up to 18 months. So that range is between 3 and 18 months. If I give you the quick answer, the overall general recommendation is to wait 18 months from birth until getting pregnant the next time. And the reason for that is that in that inter-pregnancy interval that's shorter than that 18 months, there are some risk factors, there are some things that you have a higher chance of having with that second pregnancy. Now, whenever I talk about risk factors, I get nervous because I'm like, I don't want you to stress out about things. I want to decrease your anxiety and increase your confidence. And so anytime risk factor comes up, these are things that statistically have a higher chance of happening. And so I'm gonna list those off to you and then we're gonna talk about them. So the higher risk is for anemia in pregnancy, preterm birth. Along those lines is small for gestational age, so you have a preterm baby. A lot of that has to do with your cervix. So your cervix, remember, is that rock hard solid thing that has to thin out and dilate and open. And when it's just recently done that, it's almost like muscle memory where it's like, oh, I know what to do and I'm gonna do it a little too early. And so you are at a higher chance of having a preterm baby. Along those lines, also that your water breaks prematurely, so before we want it to, at around 37 weeks and beyond. There's a higher chance of placenta abruption, which is where your placenta detaches a little bit too early. And then congenital anomalies. So that has to do with mostly folic acid intake. So my tip for you is, if you do get pregnant, first of all, don't stress out. You're gonna be followed by an OB or a midwife. They're gonna be watching for these things. So you just wanna increase your folic acid intake / folate, which is the natural form, which I talk about in my Trying to Conceive video. You can go over there and check that out. That specifically, the folic acid decreases chance of neural tube defects, which is a whole nother video, has to do with their spine, their back, problems, congenital anomalies. Another small correlation has to do with autism, an increased risk for autism, and that's like a hot button issue here in the United States at least. And one study particularly looked at people who got pregnant before 12 months from the last pregnancy and then after 36 months. They didn't really have information from the ones in between then, but if you compared those two, before 12, after 36, there was an over 3 times higher chance of autism. About 30% of you will probably get pregnant within a short inter-pregnancy interval. So this is not uncommon. And look at all the healthy babies running around the world. So this is not something to stress out about, but something to be aware of, that if you're actually trying to plan ahead and do the right thing, do the textbook thing, then the goal is 18 months. Now, the other thing I wanna note here is it has to do with miscarriage and stillbirth. So if you've had a miscarriage or you've had a stillbirth, the recommendation is that you get pregnant whenever you feel emotionally ready for that the 18 months and you can talk to your doctor or your midwife about this. They're gonna be able to specifically recommend things to you that are more specific to your pregnancy. But in general, if that is a miscarriage or a stillbirth, that you just need to be emotionally ready to have another baby and be pregnant again. And otherwise, there's no specific month time. The last thing I wanna note here has to do with VBAC mamas. So if your first pregnancy or you've had a previous C-section in the past, you really do want to wait that 18 months if you can, because of the uterine scar. So if you wanna know more about this, I have an entire VBAC class on my website that is awesome. I have slaved over that class to bring you all of the most up-to-date evidence-based information, help you make an informed decision. But the quick answer to how long you should wait if you've had a previous C-section is 18 months, because we want that scar to be nice and solid and stuck together so that when you go into labor or as your belly grows, your uterus grows, that scar doesn't break open and it causes a whole nother slew of complications. So to answer the question, the answer is 18 months if you can wait 18 months. If you happen to get pregnant in a shorter amount of time than that, guys, do not stress out. Go talk to your doctor or midwife about it. They're gonna watch your pregnancy very closely for any of these potential risk factors. But moral of the story is it happens all the time. No stress. Enjoy your pregnancy. Congratulations. Thanks everyone for being with me here today. If you want more from me, you can go to my website. I have a childbirth class over there, VBAC class like I mentioned, and then a coping with labor class. I want you to have all the tools and resources to help you have the most confident, positive, least anxious pregnancy possible. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe down below, like it, throw a comment. If you have a question, throw it in the comment box down below. Everything else is in the description box. You can check that out. And then don't forget to flex and flow, and I will see you soon. Bye.